Ms. Grace Bassey from public health sector. The presenter is going to present on the topic of significance of cultural beliefs on effective utilization of immunization on childhood killer disease in QG, FCT Abuja. I would like to call upon Ms. Bassey have start your presentation.
Okay, good afternoon all. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm so grateful to Texila for making this conference possible. I want to thank you all, my CEO, my organizers, my mentors. You've been so wonderful. Thank you very, very much. And I'm so privileged to be here and even be a presenter. So my name is Bassey Grace Mfong. Like you earlier introduced, I'm a Deputy Director, Public Health Division. Actually, I'm in charge of the diagnosis, laboratory diagnosis, as well as intermittent preventive treatment for infants. And my topic here is significance of cultural beliefs on effective utilization of immunization on childhood killer diseases in Kuje. So why did I really go into childhood killer diseases? You know, actually, I visited my in-laws and I noticed that so many of those children were disabled. So many of them were going walking stick. I was so angry and grieved in my heart. I decided to go into this topic. I want to thank Professor Augustine Oyagalam and Olushala. When I made mention of it to them, they encouraged me. So I want to quickly share the abstract. This study evaluates the significance of cultural beliefs on effective utilization of immunization on childhood killer diseases among parents in some remote areas in Kuje Area Council in FCT. It examined the roles of parents in the success of effective utilization of immunization. It also examined the relevant cultural factors hindering effective utilization of immunization. Likewise, it identified the cultural related non-involvement of some parents in effective utilization of immunization. By and large, this study also tests the, I hope we are you hearing me, sir? Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? Hello, sir, are you hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, by and large, this study also tests the two components, childhood killer diseases and child mortality, and also cultural beliefs and effective utilization of immunization on childhood killer diseases in relation among the parents. 384 questionnaires were administered to parents using house-to-house strategy in this community. Of those surveyed, the married were 92%, widowed 57%, and single 1.6% respectively. Their levels of education were also tested, and their responses were, for example, no basic education, 30.2%, and primary school education, 48.4% respectively. These were the highest of their educational qualifications. Despite the level of the respondents, education and their income per month, 80.2%. believes that only immunization can protect children against childhood killer disease, while others, 98%, disagreed because of their level of awareness of immunization. And also 32% believe that immunization can lead to HIV infection. Can you imagine that? And also 30.5% of the respondents that immunization causes a child to be sterile, and 20.6% agreed that immunization is forbidden by God, while 16.9% believe that it causes some mental, spiritual, and physical deformity in children. This study helped to inform the parent that irrespective of their beliefs in the area of immunization, they should know that it is their responsibility as parents to ensure that they effectively utilize immunization facilities to protect their child from being disabled or die as a result of not taking vaccine preventable diseases. These vaccines are freely given at the primary health centers in their communities, which could go a long way in reducing disabled persons in our society who may acquire this due to the fact that they were not exposed to vaccine preventable diseases. As it is often said, prevention is better than cure. Okay, because of our time, I'd like to skip all this. I'll skip this. This is a table of content. So then, introduction and summary. Early childhood killer diseases are one of the greatest challenges in this part of our world, of which one of the main causes are vaccines preventable diseases. That's Henderson and 1999. This indicates has led to infant mortality and deformity, and certain parts have recorded child mortality rate has 157 yearly per 1,000 lives births, whereby vaccine preventable diseases are the major causes of which, of such. WHO 2008. Effort has been put in place to ensure the reduction to its barest minimum by ensuring that all children from birth to age of 0 to 12 months have at least utilized effective immunization, which will protect them from the early childhood killer diseases in our society. That was from Edwards 2000. Some of the vaccine preventable diseases are poliomyelitis, tuberculosis, measles, yellow fever, meningitis, diphtheria, hepatitis, neonatal tetanus, hepatitis B, and pertussis. I got that from 2009. So what were the really aim and objectives of this study? To examine the roles of parents in the success of the effective utilization of immunization. This study will also enhance government organizations dealing with health agencies, NGOs, and other related parastatals, to be informed on how cultural beliefs in some parts of the country still serve as one of the factors that hinders effective utilization of immunization in the reduction of child mortality. This research will be able to assess the cultural beliefs and effective utilization of children immunization on the reduction of childhood 0 to 59 month killer diseases. To examine the relevant cultural factors hindering effective utilization of immunization. And also 2 basic sources of data collection were used to get the data needed to carry out this study. They were, number 1, the primary data and the secondary data. Out of 472 questionnaires were administered, and only 384 were retrieved. An analysis was carried on these 384 respondents using a SPSS package, a software package. Statistical package for the social sciences was employed for data analysis. This is because the package has the benefits of reproducibility, simplifies repetitive tasks, and also handling complex data, data manipulations and analysis. In SPSS, descriptive statistical tools such as simple percentages and frequency distributions and other relevant tools were used for the analysis and presentation. From the table shown here, this shows religion of respondents. Now, you can see the various religions: Islam, Christian, and then the respondent religion, Islam, were about 70.4%. And Christians were 29%. Others that are either traditional worshippers or idols worshippers were 2.4%. And then also respondents of immunization. In the above table, 85% take their children for immunization, while 14.3% say they don't take their children for immunization, despite the high percentage of awareness. And also, this is also respondents after immunization. So, on questioning them, you can see, I had to ask some of them, do you normally immunize your children or have certificate after immunizing your children, from the health facility, after conclusion? From this study, it was observed that not all of them, are aware that there is a certificate after immunization. And also some begins, some, complete it before, the child reaches age 1. Findings from this study shows that 93% do not have certificate. Can you imagine? After the completion of their children's immunization, while others, 6.2%, had certificate of completion. So also from here, also barriers are also had to find out about barriers. What was hindering them, from going for immunization that is free of charge? Some of them said a lack of knowledge, or lack of importance of immunization. But let's look at, in this table, 10% of the respondents believe that there are no barriers to immunization, while 59.1% indicated lack of, knowledge or of importance of immunization, despite all, the radio announcements and so on. And also important barrier, about 15% said transportation, that proximity was a problem. They have no money, while others, 15.9%, said no access to health facilities, respectively. So in my conclusion and recommendation, I discovered that, I came to realize that vaccine preventable disease is one of the diseases that can, be prevented in Nigeria if only parents can oblige, to play a vital role to ensure that their children are being immunized effectively, as at when due. And also this will go a long way in preventing, these diseases, and also completely eradicating the childhood killer diseases in children in Nigeria as a whole. And also government should ensure that more health facilities are created in rural areas that offers immunization services. In order to encourage parents to take their children for immunization, it should be trackable distance from where they live. Otherwise, they will keep having the excuses that the distance was too far and so on. They didn't have transport, so, and then, well, due to this presentation, I couldn't present all my references. I had to just pick a few. So those are my references. So I want to thank you all for listening. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Grace, for the wonderful presentation of the topic significance of cultural benefits, beliefs on effective utilization of immunization on childhood killer disease in KJFCT Ajuba. Dear participants, please raise your questions in Q&A session so that Ms. Grace can answer on it. And side by side, we are opening the poll for Ms. Grace. So there is a question received in a question answer session. Why is rotavirus and cholera vaccine not available in the government health facilities?
Well, most of them, yes, some facilities, I asked some of these questions, and some of them said, they went to where they could get it, they couldn't get. Some of them said some were expired. Some of them said if they bring, they can't open a vial for just one or two, the patients, so those were the excuses. Thank you.
We have a next question. Almost 60% of response reported lack of knowledge to immunization despite scintillations through the radio. When scintillation canal do you think could use suitable, since radio doesn't seems to work?
Okay, actually, like radio announcements, most people do not have radio, so it may not really work. So the best thing is for some of the CHUs, the midwives, and the rest of them, to try to, sacrifice their time to go from house to house, to enlighten these women. Like I said, some did not go to school. Some do not even know what is immunization. For example, if you have pictures of them, you can use pictures of them to show to them that, look at, see this child walking with walking stick is as a result, he did not take one particular injection, and that injection is what will stop this child from, walking like this. Would you like your child to walk like this? They'll say, no, of course, nobody will want the child to go with walking stick. So I feel maybe going from house to house will also enhance. Since PhD is being established in so many rural areas, they choose to go extra mile, to at least educate these women from house to house. Thank you.
Okay, you have another question. Most of these vaccines are not free, even in public hospital. Why is this, please?
Okay, please, well, so sorry, the vaccines are free. It's just that some people are greedy. If at all people are selling these things, okay, I had one scenario, and I was standing somewhere when I heard a woman begging, please, give my child this. She said, do you know how much I paid to come down here? How much are they paying me? And so on. These vaccines are free. They were meant to be free, but because of some greedy health workers, and I pray that God will help us to flush out these people from the system, because the vaccines are meant to be free for goodness sake. Thank you.
You have a next question. Please, can you mention clearly 1 and 2 cultural practices that prevent uptake in immunization in schedule, please?
Okay. Some people said, it is forbidden in my culture. If they take this vaccine, this is what will happen. This is what will happen. The godfather, will come from the ground. So many nonsense the beliefs that their great-great-grandfather forbid such vaccine, that if they take such vaccine, if their condition will become worse. So many horrible cultural beliefs, So, thank you.
There is one question. How can we enhance the role of traditional and religious structures in improving immunization uptake?
Okay, very good, very good. For example, like I said, you can go with some pictures and things like that, and then show to them that, God does not prevent this thing, so it is good to take it. Because if you don't take it and you keep saying your belief, the child will die. Look at the child walking with walking stick, and look at this one crawling on the ground. Do you like it that way? Like this one is a Muslim. See him sitting by the mosque, asking for alms and so on. It's not good. Whereas this child is supposed to be in school. So if you give this child this vaccine, the child will not be sitting there. The child will be going to school. The child will be normal. The child will not be crawling on the knees. Then if it is a church too, the same thing. God does not forbid this thing. If God forbids it, look at what is happening. Do you understand? Show them some pictures. If possible, you can go with some your phone. If you can go with your phones too, show them some pictures of children suffering from these disabilities. Show to them how they are not going to school. Some children, some are 18, they're holding plates, they're crawling on the ground, they cannot go to school. And even some directors on our wheelchair. Why? Because of ignorance. Their parents did not take them to school, but they had to struggle by themselves, irrespective of their disability, to make it in life. That is why no matter what, they still stayed in the class with normal children, but not everybody can face that shame. So it's better to go with videos, clips, and then pictures and so on, to show to them the disadvantages of not taking these immunizations. Thank you very much.
The next question is there any system in the place for surveillance of adverse effect of vaccines?
Okay, yes, actually, we are trying to, there is something we are coming up with now, intermittent preventive treatment for infants, whereby we are trying to also bring in this vaccine into the normal immunizations programs. There was a center we went to in Edo State. When we went to establish this system, we asked them if they were carrying out vaccines and so on. Some of them were not, and we had to revitalize it. We had to, revive those health centers to ensure to them that, government are ready to support them. And due to that, they were ready, to kickstart all over again. At least we visited few states, and they were ready to start all over again. And also to ensure that these vaccines are always available and not out of stock, because out of stock syndrome can discourage some mothers. I went yesterday, they didn't have, see how the nurses were sitting. They won't want to go again. So government is really trying to make sure that the Federal Ministry of Health, thank God for our Minister Ihimere, is trying all manner of approach to ensure that these vaccines are available in all the facilities, and also to make sure that there is capacity building, trainings are going on to make sure that they train midwives, they train more people, and put them into the system to be able to carry out these activities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Grace. It's a wonderful presentation, and thanks for the participants also. Have a nice day. Thank you.